Here is how you can stop self-sabotaging and procrastination. So I'm a high-performance coach, and today I'm going to go over some of the questions that people have asked me on my podcast, some questions from clients, and I know this is going to be extremely valuable for you. So if you do have a tendency to ruin your own progress and not see things through, not get things started because you keep procrastinating and you're a perfectionist or you have imposter syndrome, then I'm going to debunk most of those myths today and just give it to you straight. So let's dive straight into it. Oh, so many good questions here. Why do I say yes to things I don't want to do and then feel resentful? Short answer, low self-esteem and you're people pleasing. Otherwise, why would you say yes? When you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And most people have just become very comfortable saying no to themselves. Often this is because they don't feel like they deserve to be happy. And I know that sounds quite deep, but it's true. I am obsessed with helping people uncover exactly why they feel the way they do. Where did that belief system begin? When did you learn that this is what you need to do in order to receive love or validation? It might be because your mother or father were quite emotionally abusive or disinterested in you. So you just had to do what you could. And what we tend to do as children is when we don't get the attention we want through good behavior, we tend to turn to bad behavior, or we turn to self-deprecating behavior just to try and get love that way. It doesn't mean you destroy stuff. It might mean that you do really well at school and then they tell you, oh, well, you could have done better. So therefore you show more victimhood and you might go home from school and go, oh, I'm such a loser. Then mum or dad might say, no, you're not. You're amazing. You're wonderful. Straight away in your young mind, you've now associated vulnerability to being fixed. So why on earth would you change that pattern if you know you're going to receive love? And you see this with adults in the present day. I've tried everything to lose weight. No, you haven't. If you'd have tried everything, you'd have got your outcome. What you've probably done is the same 2 or 3 strategies over and over and over again and not seen the outcome. But it's easier to blame something than yourself. So what I would highly recommend when someone asks you, oh, would you like to come out this weekend? And you're trying to stop drinking, for instance, just give yourself the time by putting in a pause. Big breath. I'm going to think about that. I'm going to come back to you. Now, they might not like this, especially if they're used to you going, yes, of course I can do that when you don't want to. What do you mean you need to think about it? I just need to think about it and I'll come back to you. Oh, right. Do you not want to go then? No, I didn't say that. I just said I'm going to think about it. Right. Okay. Because we've all done it. We've all said yes to things that we categorically did not want to do. How do you honestly feel about yourself when you're there? You probably feel quite annoyed. How do you feel in the lead up to it? Probably quite anxious because you're dreading going or dreading doing the thing that you've agreed to, right? How can I stop my mood from swinging up and down all the time? Yes, mood swings can be there for a reason, but emotional regulation is not just some fancy phrase. It's imperative if you want to have inner peace and calm. So I typically work with business owners, founders, CEOs, high achievers. Yes, it can be stressful trying to grow a business or managing a large team while navigating your own health while simultaneously trying to keep your family ticking over and happy and be present. It's a lot. Of course it is. But if it was easy, every fucker would do it, wouldn't they? It's probably swinging up and down because you're getting dragged pillar to post by events that are outside of your control. Now, ask yourself honestly, because this is what a lot of people do. Is this you in some roundabout way? You wake up in the morning and you check your phone first thing. Straight away, your eyes are a little bit shut. You look like a naked mole rat, right? Burrowing in the darkness to try find your phone. Bang, you turn it on. You look at Instagram and you compare yourself. My friend John's away on holiday again. He looks really good as well. Oh, his girlfriend's really attractive and I'm still single. Oh, Jesus. Scroll, next picture. Oh, that guy I used to work with, he's just got a promotion. Oh my God, my business isn't doing all that well. Steve's on holiday again. Oh. Then you might go onto the news. Thousands of more children have been bombed to death. Great. Just what you want to fucking read, isn't it, as soon as you wake up? And you might be thinking, well, it's worse for them. They're going through it. I know. Of course it's worse for them. Do you need to expose yourself to that kind of horrible information before you've even got out of bed? So you've already compared yourself to someone. You've already said you're a piece of shit. And now you're looking at people that are getting bombed to death across the world. Is that honestly what you want to do before you've even put your foot on the floor? Then people haven't really organised themselves from the night before. Kids might come in screaming potentially, causing loads of noise. You've not got anything prepped for them. Everything's really stressful, really chaotic. You might have 2 or 3 coffees because you're so exhausted. And then you eat a shitty breakfast. You drive to a job or a business that you've fallen out of love with. You get stuck in traffic. You get annoyed at traffic, even though you're part of traffic. You sit down at a desk for 3 hours. You have a shitty lunch, probably like a Tesco meal deal full of saturated fat, carbohydrates without any exercise equals complete fucking demolition to your energy in the afternoon. You probably don't drink enough water. You say you're tired, so you have more coffee, even though now you're spiking your blood sugars and you're going to feel even more exhausted. Carrie sit down at a desk, and you sit down in the car, you drive home, get annoyed at traffic again. You might get irritated at the kids, become a bit more snappy. You sit down again to eat dinner, then you sit down again to watch 4 hours of TV while scrolling on your phone. Now, not all of that will be applicable to you, but I would imagine some of it will. Then ask yourself honestly, is there any wonder why I feel like shit? This isn't about being perfect, okay? And I do some of the things that I've just mentioned, of course, I'm human. But how many of them are you doing and how often? Only you'll know. Doesn't matter to me, but ask yourself that question. So there's no sort of concern of mine as to why people do this, because I know why they do it. I know why they do it. And usually it's due to low self-esteem. Doesn't have to carry on that way. We can change the meaning anytime we like. How do I deal with that voice in my head that tells me I'm not good enough? You nurture it. And you might be thinking, what voice in my head? That one, right? This has been referred to as the inner critic or the inner child or the inner chimp. The voice in your head is never going away. You need to acknowledge its existence without judgment. Just allow it to be present. You are not that voice in your head. You are not your thoughts. You can decide what your thoughts mean by attaching a more helpful label, a more helpful belief system to what the thought means. Then off the back of that, you will take action or you won't take action, again, depending on whether you feel worthy of change. So if the thought comes in, I'm a piece of shit and I don't deserve to be happy, big breath. Is that true? And you might be really down on yourself and you might go, yeah, it's true. Can you say with 100% certainty that it's true, that you're a piece of shit and you don't deserve to be happy? Well, no. Fantastic. So what's a more helpful thought? And only say things you mean, by the way. Don't go down the false positivity rah-rah bullshit. I'm a good person and I work hard and I do deserve to be happy. So today I'm going to do something for me. Brilliant. You've just changed your whole perspective with a more helpful thought. This is not false positivity rah-rah. This is just a more helpful way of framing things. I feel fine when things are going well, but the moment something goes wrong, I spiral. How do I stop that? If you are driving down the motorway and you're singing along to your favourite song with your friends, and then suddenly one of your tyres bursts, you don't get out and pop the other 3 tyres, do you? Because that'd be ridiculous. So ask yourself, again, with compassion, I'm wondering what is making me do this with my behaviours or with my emotions. It's just an old pattern. It's an old, outdated belief system. Listen to the ownership of the language here. I feel fine when things are going well, but the moment something goes wrong, I spiral. What I encourage my clients to do is use past tense language when it comes to this. In the past, when I felt fine and things were going well, I used to spiral, but now I'm changing that because I have a more helpful strategy. Because otherwise, it's always going to be 2 plus 2 equals 5 in your mind. Bad thing happens, then I need to go to this. No, you don't, because it's the wrong answer. You don't need to do that at all. It's nonsense. So how do you stop doing it? You just stop doing it. You might go, well, that sounds too fucking easy. No, because it is. Again, the next one. How do I build more discipline when I've always been someone who gives up easily? In the past, I used to give up easily, but now I'm building more discipline. I'm building more discipline by making the target more achievable. So you want to almost set the standard ridiculously low initially to build momentum. Darren Hardy talks about it in The Compound Effect. He refers to it as Big Mo. If you imagine this big guy, right? It's the same with momentum. That's what it's all about. Big Mo. If you start that snowball rolling down the hill and it just keeps going and going and going and going and going, by the end of it, a fucking avalanche comes. This can happen with positivity too, but you have to get started. If you set the goal too big, you're never going to get started. If you said, I don't know, I'm 50 pounds overweight, I need to be able to run 10K. Why? Why is that the goal? If you're 50 pounds overweight, the likelihood of you being able to complete 10K is slim to none. So perhaps the goal needs to be to get some new walking or running shoes. Then the next goal needs to be to order some healthier foods. Then it needs to be to order a water bottle that you can carry around with you. Then you've got a bit of a habit cue, so you can start to drink more water. Now you're eating healthier, you're going out for walks, and you're drinking more water, you're going to have more energy. Now you have more energy, you're more likely to do more vigorous exercise. Now you're doing all those three things and weight's coming off you, it's now easier to move. So now you could probably look at jogging. Now you can jog. Can you run from the lamppost to the next lamppost? Yes, fantastic. Now, how long can you run for without stopping? Oh, it was only 8 minutes. Well, it was 8 minutes more than you could do before. So keep going. Then you increase it by 30 seconds every day. If you can run for 8 minutes, you can probably run for 8.5 minutes, right? Within 90 to 120 days of following this methodology, you will be able to run the 10K. That's the very definition of the compound effect. So give yourself a low barrier to entry, just so you can take action. Then eventually, the discipline's going to form anyway. How can I be more present with my kids/partner instead of being distracted? I'm assuming this means to be distracted by your phone or by your laptop. Simple answer is put them in another room. Mentally, you might not be as present as you'd like because you will be thinking about the emails and what if a client messages me, etc. I get that, but this is a process. You're not suddenly going to be this Zen monk that is just going to be present all the time with every single thing that's happening. Don't put that pressure on yourself. Just say, today or this evening, I'm going to put my phone upstairs. I'm going to play the games with the kids after dinner. And then we're going to watch our favourite movie. And when they go to bed, I'll go to bed. Or when they go to bed, I'll quickly check my email. Then I'll put my head down. Whatever. But this comes with time. Presence doesn't just mean physically being there. And children are very, very intuitive. They can tell when you're not interested. So just because you're there physically and you're texting or messaging or emailing the client and they're going, look, daddy, look, mummy, look over here. And you're going, yeah. Oh, yeah, brilliant. Yeah, well done. They know. Of course we know. Sensory acuity kicks in at a very early age. So you become cognitively aware of your surroundings very, very fucking quickly, and they'll be able to tell whether you're actually interested or whether you're pretending to. So, procrastination. Why do I procrastinate? I don't feel like you're worthy of the outcome. Procrastination's a really sexy label, but I look at it again like low self-esteem in a red dress. That's all this is. If I put a gun to your head and said procrastinate, no fucking chance, right? If I said gun to your head, do the work, you wouldn't procrastinate, would you? You just get on with it. So I'm not suggesting that everything's life or death, or you need to give yourself that level of urgency, but it's just not that big of a deal to you if you're not doing the work. And if you say, yes, it is, Adam, well, fucking do the work then and submit it. Then you can refine later, but you're probably fearful again of what some people may say because you're putting all your worth and validation in external things. So, hope that all makes sense. Thank you for listening. If you do want our help one-to-one, we are always taking on more clients. We can transform your life. If anything that I've said today has resonated with you, are you honestly happy staying as you are? What's it costing you not to change? What is it costing you to keep procrastinating, to not grow the business, to not be present at home, to not hit your weight targets, to not be physically fit and active? What's it costing you? Time, health, relationships, mental clarity? Is it affecting your sleep? I could keep going on and on. So our DMs are open, or email us at hello@agameconsultancy.com if you want more of our help. But other than that, thank you very much for listening. Until next time.